One video, one skill, 5 minutes or less. Let's go. In this 5-minute video on using Stripe with Xero, I'm going to show you how to set up Stripe with Xero, how the integration with Xero and Stripe, the payment service, works to help you get paid faster, and how to reconcile your payments in Xero once they've arrived in your bank account from Stripe. So let's have a look inside Xero. Okay, so before we get into the details of understanding how to set up our Stripe payment service with Xero, let's first of all understand what it's all about. If you have a look in a sales invoice inside Xero, what you are likely to have noticed recently is there is a section under the Options button called Online Payment Services. So I'm taking you here to an open sales invoice, and if you look under Invoice Options, it says Online Payments. If you select Online Payments, it's going to take you to the Payment Services area in the General settings and the Invoice settings inside your Xero settings. So there's no additional or extra feature that's been added as such. Stripe has had a payment service with Xero for a long time. However, it's just more noticeable to those looking under the Options button when it was just hidden under Settings before. Now in this Xero file, the demo company, is currently just set up with PayPal. If we were to add our Stripe payment service, we would simply select Add Payment Service and select Stripe. But before we go into the setup, let's have a look at what this is all about. Looking at a copy of an invoice that I have sent to one of my sample customers here, my personal file is set up with Stripe, and you can see here I've sent out an online invoice to somebody and I've clicked on the online invoice link so that I can see what that looks like. I'm opening it up as if I am the customer. So my customer has seen this. In order to pay me this invoice of $275, they can just simply select Pay Now. And this is what pops up. This box here is what it looks like when someone is asked to pay via Stripe. They simply just enter in their details, their credit card details obviously, and select pay the full amount in whatever currency it is that I've asked them to pay in. So that is what the Stripe integration looks like. Now, when that person pays, the money goes and sits inside Stripe, and inside Xero, a couple of things happen. Number one, this invoice is automatically marked as paid. Secondly, when that invoice is marked as paid, that payment amount sits in the back of the bank account. Whatever bank account you've connected up with Stripe, the bank account that the money's actually going to land in, that amount goes and sits in the back of the bank account, waiting for the money to come through the bank feed a week later. Now, looking back in the demo company, how do we set it up? You simply go to Add Payment Service and select Stripe. If you have a Stripe account already, you enter your Stripe settings. If you don't, once you hit connect to Stripe down the bottom, you can create your own Stripe account during the authentication process. You've got to enter your name here, or so your business name as you'd like it to appear, and you have to select the payment account which Stripe monies are actually banked into. So let's have a look inside Xero at the invoice that has just been paid via Stripe. We can see that the invoice has been marked as paid. The amount of the payment that was made and the day that it was paid is also recorded here, and there's no longer any amounts due. What does this look like in the bank account then? If we look in the bank reconciliation and look at the account transaction screen, which I call the back of the bank account, in the back of the business bank account, we're going to see this payment, 14th of March, payment for this particular invoice we were looking at. The payment reference is Stripe, or you might have a Stripe reference number, and the amount that was received was $275. Now, has this amount actually hit the business bank account yet? No, it hasn't. Hasn't actually come into your bank account yet. Generally, for Australian payments, it takes up to 7 days for the money to be released from Stripe and put into your bank account. Let's have a look at the amount, though, on the reconcile screen as if it's come in a week later. Looking down the bottom of the bank reconciliation screen, we can see payment from Stripe of $269.90. Now, why is it not $275? The payment is not $275 because Stripe takes a portion of your amount that it's giving you in order to pay for the payment service that they've provided. So here Stripe has taken a payment fee. If you want to have a look at the pricing, have a look at stripe.com/au/pricing, or go to stripe.com and look up pricing for your region. So how do we deal with this amount here when it's not the same as the actual payment? We go to Match, Find and Match, look at the payment for Bayside, or select the payment of the invoice, which in this case was Bayside, and we can't reconcile this payment amount yet because the total is out by $5.10. To manage this, we go to Adjustments, select Bank Fee, type who the bank fee was paid to, in this case Stripe. You might write something like merchant fee, and I'll put it just to bank charges. You can put it to wherever it suits you. I'm going to type in the amount $5.10. As soon as I've done that, the amount is ready to be reconciled. So now we've managed the invoice being paid via Stripe using the credit card service. You've seen what it looks like when the invoice gets marked off as paid automatically, as well as how to manage the payment when it comes through the bank feed later on, including managing the Stripe fees themselves. There we go. That's all you need to know about Stripe and Xero. The 5-minute Xero Upskill is brought to you by Ecosystem Expert Academy. If you would like more Xero tips or lessons, head over to the Academy website, ecosystemexpertacademy.com.